Hush on Hell the Writhing now, baby.
Huff it up. Huff it.
Let's see. He posts as the Warlock on Blog TV. Master. No, that's a different guy then. What horror classic to this day gives you nightmares? And I mean scared the hell out of you. You mean still gives us nightmares? I don't think it.
We live in Pressburg, Kentucky, sir. It ain't shit about horror movies.
The only horror movie I can ever remember that gave me nightmares was the first Nightmare on Elm Street. That's the only one I can think of that I still remember the nightmare I had. And it was about it was the weirdest part in that movie that gave me a nightmare was the girl that was the hall monitor, and just seeing the dead body dragging in the hallway and stuff like that. That was the one that did it. That was the scene that did it in that movie, oddly enough.
Hey, this is going to be weird, but I actually remember Return of the Living Dead 2 gave me nightmares.
Get that out of my hand!
It wasn't that. It was the kid. The zombie kid that's after that other little kid.
Yeah.
That gave me nightmares when I was young. Apologize, but it did.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do you got? I'm sorry. Blu-ray writes in and says, "What do you guys think of The Usual Suspects?" Have you ever seen The Usual Suspects? What the?
I'm sorry. I'm not a usual suspect.
I love that movie. Absolutely love it.
Well, why don't you get me a copy of it for Christmas?
It's probably out on Blu-ray by now, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, everybody needs to see that movie. Anybody that doesn't see it, it's just silly.
Some butthead asks us, who'd win in a tag team wrestling match? You guys or Dawn and Murph?
I'll say this. I think Dawn and Murph definitely are bigger than us. I think both those guys are like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, they both tower over you then, for sure. You're like 5'4".
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we're more aggressive than they are. They try to be friendly and shit. We don't give a fuck.
Okay.
They try to be nice. We're not nice. We're fucking hillbilly assholes.
Action Fan 20. Great videos, and you guys are awesome. Here's my question. Well, we already answered that question.
We already answered it, buddy. Golly, get some original questions.
The Poet 2000. What's your favorite slasher film? Can't remember if we answered that already.
Yeah, we already answered that. Friday 13th, Part 5.
Okay. What's your Zootron Bomb says, what's your favorite Dirty Harry movie?
Ooh.
That's easy for me. The original Dirty Harry.
Favorite Dirty Harry.
By a mile. Because
well, see, I've got the original Dirty Harry, but I haven't watched it in forever. So
Andrew Robinson, that's by far and away the best villain that was ever in a Dirty Harry movie.
Yeah. I'll tell you a Clint Eastwood movie that I watched again recently was Pink Cadillac.
Pink Cadillac.
That's hilarious because Gary Clark from Day of the Dead and Bill Moseley from Texas Chainsaw 2 and the Rob Zombie stuff were both in that.
Mm-hmm.
Had pretty decent sized roles in it too.
Yeah, buddy.
But yeah, Dirty Harry. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of the Dirty Harry movies. All of them are really good, in my opinion. So the one that I didn't like, though, was the one with Tyne Daly in it because I don't like her. I just don't like her.
Was that Magnum Force?
I think it might have been Sudden Impact.
Yeah, maybe it was.
It was the one from like the early 80s.
I really like the Deadpool though.
I don't have that one on DVD. It's got, it's a lot of the, I think Pink Cadillac actually had Jim Carrey in it as well, and he's in the Deadpool, playing Axl Rose pretty much.
Yeah, he actually is singing Welcome to the Jungle.
So, DLF Productions asks, have you guys seen The Jackal? I think I've seen it. Is Bruce Willis in it?
It is, yeah.
I've seen it, but I don't remember it that much. They wants to know what our favorite TV show was from way back when. I know what mine was. There's a couple when I was a little kid. Mine was, I always watched Nickelodeon. when I was a kid. So, Mr. Wizard's World, you can't do that on television. Double Dare, Hey Dude. I loved Hey Dude. I wish that would come out on DVD.
Talking about cartoons and stuff, it'd probably be G.I. Joe and Masters of the Universe.
He-Man.
Yeah.
Thundercats.
As far as like regular shows go, Night Court was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
And Family Ties was great back in the day.
Yeah, I love Family Ties. I remember when they first put that back on Nick at Night again. I watched every bit of that again. Like, they play them in order, you know, on those channels.
Mm-hmm.
So every night I watched them all over again. That's a great show.
Andy Griffith Show still is great.
Yeah. That's a big thing around here, though, that people...
Shit.
I don't think people in a big
show.
city get that show. Because, like, it was one of those shows where back then especially, like, when you had a show that was set in the South, it was often, like, just fucking poking fun of Southerners and stuff like that. And they didn't do that in that show. Instead of this day, you've got people around here that love that show, that can quote that show, that know every episode of that show.
Mm-hmm. Alice's Diner, Flo.
The Golden Girls. I used to love Different Strokes a lot, though, too, when I was growing up. And Silver Spoons, The Hogan Family. I wish that shit would come on DVD.
Was that the one with Meredith Baxter in it? By the way, Meredith Baxter's gay. Did you know that?
She actually, yeah, if you think about it, she does seem sort of gay.
She came out. She's gay.
Her and Ellen going at it.
Mm-hmm. Her and Jodie Foster.
I like the old black and white shows, too, from Nickelodeon. Like, I actually dig the Lassie shows. I don't know if you watched those. And Dennis the Menace, the black and white live-action show. I love. None of that stuff is on DVD. The Wonder Years is still on DVD. That's another one I loved.
Yeah, probably never will. I don't think Family Matters is on DVD, is it? That's another one that was from around that time. Anyway, I'm out of questions now. So.
Well, here's another one. We're never going to be out of these fuckers.
God.
But DLF Productions still has one more. It says, what do you think is the worst movie you've seen in the last 10 years? Fog remake.
That or Hostel.
Fog remake's worse than Hostel, man. I hate Hostel. But the Fog remake was just poorly, everything around was poorly done. Poor acting, directing, visual effects, poor plot. There wasn't a plot. It just sucked.
What about Prom Night remake?
Yeah, that was pretty bad too.
Alright, Brutal Casey.
Brutal Casey, brother.
What is your favorite George A. Romero film, and what's your guys' favorite Mick Foley match? Oh, shit.
Romero movie would probably be Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah! Yeah! Your favorite Mick Foley match?
Favorite Mick Foley match. See, I mean, a lot of people would say the Hell in the Cell. But the thing is, that wasn't even really a match. That was just him taking two horrendous falls.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I thought one of the coolest matches at the time, people probably don't even remember this, was, I think it was SummerSlam 96, where they had the Boiler Room Brawl with, it was Mankind at the time and The Undertaker. I thought that was a really good one. He's had a lot of, I mean, he's not a wrestler really, as far as technical wrestling, but he's had a lot of, you know, the King of the Death match thing with him and Terry Funk.
I was going to say, any match he had with Terry Funk was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Mick Foley's like one of those guys, too, that's just, like, unbelievably nice. Like, he's exactly like I remember that one year at Friday Night Film Fest, you were like, what? You know, because I was like, let's go to the green room and get something to eat. And then here was all these fuckers that were, because we're sort of the big deal here at DEADPIT. They offered us a green room to go eat. You know?
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, well, who the hell can I sit with? And my bigger mark for like all these sumbitches like that were in Halloween, or here's fucking Mick Foley over here sitting by himself eating barbecue. And I thought he had one of his assistants with him. It was actually the fucker that played Tommy Doyle in Halloween. But that was just one of the coolest things that I've ever got to do. was have lunch with Mick Foley at Friday Night Film Fest.
Your turn, shit ass.
No, your turn.
No, I just asked that.
Oh, baby, you want shit on you. I am Dade Scott. Okay? Hi, Dade. Sorry you got such a weird name. I love your videos on horror films. What do you guys think of the 1986 movie Killer Party? And do you have any background info on it? I heard they cut a lot of the film. Thanks. Killer Party. We watched that probably about 2 years ago.
I don't remember shit about Killer Party.
It's not too good. I know that Killer Party was like one of those movies that was made with the Canadian tax shelter policy.
Probably never be on DVD with it.
I don't know. I don't know about that. There's a few others like that too. TerrorVision, I think Curtains. But it was one of those movies that they started filming it in like '82. Then they stopped production on it and finished it like 5 years later. I know that about it. I know it's not a very good movie, in my opinion. I didn't enjoy it. So
it's not as good as Final Exam.
I don't remember a whole lot about it, but I remember it not being a fun experience to watch.
Oh, this is going to be fun. 3 questions from Cinema Crit. Even though remakes usually suck, what movie would you none? I already answered that. If you guys had a part in any horror movie ever made, what movie would you want to be in and how would you like to die? I think we've answered this question on the show before, too.
I don't know. I'd like to be in a Phantasm movie and just have the sphere suck all my blood out.
Yeah. I'd like to be fucked to death.
Would you?
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
By Tom Savini.
By Linnea Quigley, back circa about 1985. One more though. What is the best movie you've ever seen? And why is it the best? Why?
It's the best around. Nothing's ever gonna keep it down. The best movie I've ever seen.
That's an easy question.
Who can answer that? I don't know. Gone with the Wind.
Yeah. The Mangler.
The Mangler Reborn.
Yeah. I don't know.
I am Dade Scott Axe once again. We haven't seen either of these movies, Deadly Eyes or Beast Within, so go on to the other one. Cannibal Oxide.
They what?
That's his name, Cannibal Oxide. Have y'all seen Damon Packard's 2002 film Reflections of Evil?
No.
Damon Packard, no, we haven't seen your movie.
No.
Sorry, buddy.
Scotty Fritz says, what is your favorite David Cronenberg film?
I would say Rabid would be mine.
That's a good one. I don't know. They're all killer.
Well, I think the movie he's making now is really good too. History of Violence, I thought was awesome.
It'd either be Rabbit or Videodrome.
You're a rabid beast.
Go ahead right now.
Okay, I don't know who this is from, but whatever. Hello, CK and UB. I wanted to ask you guys about a film I don't think anyone has told you about. I think you guys have seen it or heard of Clown House, directed by Victor Salva with Nathan Forrest Winters, Brian Hughes, Sam Rockwell. Yeah, the guy, that was the movie where the guy basically sucked the little kid's pecker.
He's playing grab ass with little kids in that movie. That's not a good thing to be doing. Was there a question in that? I don't know. Good job, buddy. Bring that up. Con Debbie, 88.
Yeah. Con Debbie!
If you could only have one horror DVD from each decade, what would it be? Jesus, how far back do we have to go? Let's just start at the 70s.
Start the 20s.
It's not.
Nosferatu.
It'd be almost impossible.
Nosferatu in the 20s. In the 30s, I would go with Frankenstein. In the 40s, I would go with Black Narcissus. In the 50s, Creature from the Black Lagoon. The 60s, Psycho. The 70s, that's going to be a tough one right there. I would say the movie I probably watched more than any in the 70s was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, so I'll put that, even though I'm sort of sick of that movie now, but I know eventually I'll watch it again. The 80s, you got to think of the movies that you watch the most, I guess, from that decade. Probably be Return of the Living Dead. 90s, Scream. Scream, Fall Me Bitch. In the 2000s, I'd pick Trick or Treat, son of a bitch.
I'm not going to the 20s because I just don't.
Yeah.
I'm not going back that far. I'll start at the 50s and then we'll move forward from there.
Tree fitting.
So, the 50s, I would probably pick. Did the Creature from the Black Lagoon come out in the 50s?
54, I think.
Okay. I'll go with that too. In the 60s, I'm going with Night of the Living Dead. In the 70s, that's going to be harder than shit. But I'll say. He said DVD too. So, if you have one whole DVD from each decade. So from the 70s, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Steelbook edition.
The Blu-ray edition.
No, the fucking Blu-ray. Steelbook, no.
Oh.
The 80s, Jesus, that's even harder. I'm going to go. I'll mix it up and go with Evil Dead because there's like 90 different DVDs of that. In the 90s, Blair Witch Project. In the noughts, I'll probably go with American Psycho.
Which is weird, yeah. We did do I was just thinking about that. What year did American Psycho come out?
I believe it came out in 2000.
We missed that.
I know.
How the hell did that happen?
I was thinking about that. I have no idea.
Okay. Porky's 2248. Slumber Party Massacre. Do we have it on DVD? I don't.
I do. Yeah.
It's actually kind of rare.
The second one I think is even more rare.
I think all of them are rare. I remember a funny story. I actually ordered the box set because I love those movies.
I remember that.
Like one of the first DVDs that I ever ordered online, and it never did come in stock online. I don't know what the problem is. It was right when it came out too.
All like the Slumber Party Massacre movies are impossible. The Sorority House Massacre movies, the sequels
Yeah.
are hard.
Well, see, the box set had all of those in it. All the Slumber Party and Sorority House Massacre movies in it.
So I've got the first one, but that's it. Jeremy Caudle. He says, I want to know if we knew anything about the All-American Massacre with Bill Moseley.
Yeah, that's the unofficial sequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Do you remember hearing about that?
He talked about it on there. Who was it? He did it with somebody that's actually pretty.
It's Toby Hooper's
There we go.
son. And through legal, like, it's about a 30-minute movie from what I understand. And, like, legal mumbo-jumbo caused that to not be released at all. So,
It's out there somewhere. I'm pretty sure he's probably got a copy of it.
It's not out there anywhere online or anything. I know
Well,
that.
I mean, it's out, but it exists somewhere.
Yeah. Get some mayonnaise.
Is that the guy's name?
Yeah. Says, what was the most profound moment of your lives, horror or otherwise? And he's thanking us for the YouTube and radio show and all that.
This ain't Oprah. I don't know. Most profound moment of my life.
There's a lot of things that happened as far as like stuff related to the show. You know, we're just going to talk about show related stuff, I guess. That I'm like, I'm just so glad that we actually did this because, you know, just just because this is out there, I mean, nobody else at the time, and there's a lot of people now trying to do this stuff. But when we started doing it, there was nobody else doing the format that we wanted to do with the interviews and the news and the reviews and stuff like that. And just being able to talk to some of the people that we talked to, and some of them passing away, you know, like Bob Clark, Lou Perryman, Don Edmonds, and just having experiences with those guys, because to me the Bob Clark thing was huge. Not only because of Black Christmas, but because we got to do the interview around Christmas time. He had Christmas Story, which to me is one of the best, especially the last 30, 40 years, to me the best Christmas movie ever made. And that was a great experience. And talking to John Carpenter and George Romero was, it was just letting me know that we're doing something right, you know, that we were able to even do this shit. And, I don't know, some stuff that happens at conventions, but we can't really.
I think it's pretty amazing to have like a film screening about yourself in a pretty much packed crowd, and then have like a question and answer thing after that. That was pretty.
Yeah, that was just bizarre.
Yeah.
That was one of those deals where I don't drink, but I had to do something, because it was just weird, because you're seeing a movie about yourself and that you've never seen before. We never did get to see it before. And you know, it wasn't a huge, I won't say it's a huge room, but there was probably 50, 60 people in there, in that small screening room. It was awesome. It was a cool experience.
Michael Madsen come in like at one point.
Yeah, John Dugan, who was
well,
way out of it at the time, but it was hilarious, you know.
Dugan just came in because he thought there was beer in there, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's yours, buddy. It's yours.
Endurance Productions, what was the most shocking horror movie you've ever seen? That's easy because I just saw it not too long ago. Martyrs. I say that without like hesitation. That's one of those movies where you want to talk about something shocking. I just fucking floored me.
Yeah, I gotta say it's always been Cannibal Holocaust for me. I know it's probably a dull answer now, but when I saw that movie for the first time, I just couldn't believe what I was watching. Because the movie I remembered watching that I thought was the movie I bought, you know, this is the early days of DVD, was Cannibal Ferox, which is also, you know, pretty shocking and brutal as well, but I don't think involved, or I don't remember the animal killings and stuff in that. And it was just, and the music too, the music is really strange.
First time I saw Traces of Death too. I really wish I'd never watched that. He's got two more though. Hold on. What horror movie do you think has had the best impact, or has made the best impact for the horror genre in the new decade so far?
I think High Tension is the one that I can think of.
Has made the most impact on the horror genre?
As far as just changing, because that was the first of the big French Revolution, and now we get all kinds of that stuff.
I'd say, unfortunately, it's probably Saw.
Yeah.
That's one of those movies that everybody in the world started making those type of movies after that came out. What do you feel is the most underrated horror film ever?
I always think Phantasm is. Like, I know people, I was talking to, I think it was Tim Sutherland one time, and he didn't agree with that. But to me, I mean, I would put Phantasm up there with Halloween and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and movies like that. It's just an iconic horror film. I've always seen it like that.